I didn't actively set out to lose weight, but the things that I did resulted in me losing 17 kilos in 8 months. Here's a couple of things I didn't do. I didn't starve myself. I also didn't exercise a lot. So how did I do it? Stick around and you'll find out. Hi, I'm Sam and welcome to my channel. Oh, what? I don't look like that anymore? Yeah, I know. Last year, I lost 17 kilos in 8 months. It was awesome. A lot of things happened and I regained the weight, but that doesn't negate the fact that I put in the hard work. I did what I needed to do to take care of myself and I saw really good results. So I wanted to document it here because now that I am working on my self-care again, eating better, giving myself better foods, it's all part of it. So I'm putting my story out there for anybody who wants to see it. Last year, I practiced self-care actively. One of the ways I did that was by taking better care of my physical health. So right around the tail end of 2018, I decided to start practicing self-care. I had just had another baby about 5 months beforehand. I was really starting to get into the groove of having a baby and having a 3-year-old and what kind of responsibilities I had, how my day was built. In the haze of the newborn days, you function, you do whatever you have to do to get through. No sleep, little food. You just gotta survive. Once you get out of the survival phase, then the work really can begin. So I started, first of all, by figuring out what I wanted for myself. And I knew that the answer wasn't to be a smaller number on the scale, because that number is not and was not the sum total of my being. When I stepped on that scale, I wasn't whatever number was there. I'm a mum and I love to learn. I'm a crafter. I love solving puzzles. I like reading. I like games. I am so much more than whatever my body physically weighs. It wasn't until I'd kind of gotten to that point that I really could start taking better care of myself. What I wanted was to eat better food, to have more energy, because I was running around after a 3-year-old. I had a baby with me. My husband worked super long hours, so he wasn't home for a big chunk of time, and it was all me. And I was tired. I was struggling, and I wanted to do better for myself so that I could do better for my family. I started losing weight very slowly because I wasn't tracking it. It wasn't about what I weighed, it was about what I was doing for myself. So over the first 2 months, I lost 2 kilos, and that was not on purpose because I wasn't trying to lose weight. At the tail end of 2018, just after Christmas, I decided to start tracking what I was eating. Didn't matter what it was. I had been perusing forums online. I'm a big fan of Reddit's Lose It forum. There's some really interesting information there, some really just fascinating articles and people's experiences, and yeah, there's inspiration, but there's also a whole bunch of people slogging through the day, just trying to make it through, just like you are, just like I was, and having a little bit of solidarity there was really awesome. One of the things I discovered recommended was the Total Daily Energy Expenditure Calculator, your TDEE. So I went over to the calculator and I plugged in all my stats, and it told me how many calories I should be consuming in a day to keep my weight where it was. So when I started tracking my foods, it was just after Christmas. There was a lot of delicious food around, and I realized, yeah, I was definitely eating far in excess of what I needed to. And then the foods that I was eating were very calorie high, but satisfaction low, meaning they were great in the moment and delicious, but they didn't last long. I was eating lollies, the sugar would hit my system, it'd be great, and then it'd vanish. No energy. So you reach for the sugar again, because you want a little more. And it's this self-fulfilling cycle. The day that I realized, yeah, I actually do want to commit to eating better foods was the day before New Year's Day. I didn't want to set a New Year's resolution. I don't have a very good track record, surprise, surprise, of meeting them. So I started counting my calories and trying to stay within a recommended range on New Year's Eve. That way, when I started the new year, I was already doing it for one whole day. It sounds really silly, but that kind of mindset where you start a new year, a new you. I've talked about it before on my channel, I'll link to it. But this new year, new you, it doesn't work very well if you don't have kind of things already in place. The stuff that I had in place to help me lose weight and take better care of my health was all mental. When I stepped on the scale to start tracking my weight, it was just a number. It was just a data point. I started using it as feedback as to whether I was eating enough food to maintain my current weight or to lose weight. If I lost weight, I was following the guidelines that I wanted to follow. At any moment, I could have switched into maintaining my weight, and I still would have weighed because I wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing by my body. The only way that you're going to know is by data. For some people, weighing can be really triggering, especially if you have a history of binge eating or eating disorders. That can be really triggering. So other people recommend just taking a measurement. If you're trying to lose weight or take better care of your health, using data as feedback, measuring yourself, your waist, your chest, your hips, maybe by tracking those measurements as opposed to how much the number is a better way of doing things for you. I chose to weigh every day because I really wanted that nuanced feedback. But the problem with weighing every day is the scale goes up and down, and if you have a uterus, menstruation can be a concern when you're trying to lose weight because your body retains water. It wants to hold on to it all. So the scale could jump by 2 kilos. That's how much mine used to go up, and I didn't do anything. I could keep my behavior the same, but the scale was not my friend. I chose to use a smoothing app. I used Libra. I also used Happy Scale back when I had an iPhone, Libra for Android, and it helps take an average of your weight. So if you can see an overall trend downward, then you're doing what you need to do. The number doesn't matter as long as it's moving in the direction that you want it to go. If you want it to maintain, then you want to see a relatively smooth line. There'll be a few dips. You're going to have a little bit of a blowout. You're going to go to a birthday party. You're going to have a couple of drinks. These things happen. That's what part of life is. And that's why I didn't starve myself. I can't starve myself for the rest of my life. Hopefully I've still got another 50 years at least on this planet. Can you imagine only eating food that makes you unhappy for the next 50 years? Because that sounds awful. And cheesecake is delicious. So we've talked about how to find your TDEE. Once I found the number that kind of summed up what I needed to give my body in order for it to function well, I went over and I started using MyFitnessPal. It's a free app. They do have like a premium kind of subscription, but you can download it, and I found it really easy to use. And all I did was use that in conjunction with a food scale. Whenever I got out my cereal, I would pour it into a bowl on top of the scale, measure out 1 serve, and that'd be it. And that's how I lost the weight. I didn't follow keto. I didn't try low carb or no fat or whatever. I just ate whatever I wanted as long as it fit into those parameters. When I first started, I was eating Christmas leftovers. So there was like tons of ham off the bone because I love a good Christmas ham. And there was little lollies and things like that. And I put that all into it. I tracked everything I ate. If I didn't have a great day, I'd try it again the next day. But tracking your food does a couple of things. When you weigh it, it shows you that you are consuming exactly what you think you are. And when you go to log it in the tracker, it kind of makes you think, oh, that took a lot of calories. Was it really worth it? No, probably not. I didn't enjoy that. Or, yeah, it absolutely was worth it. That was delicious. It helps you kind of get in tune with where you are, what you're eating, and how you feel about it. Because weight is just a number. Scales and trackers and calories, they're all just numbers. They all interconnect to give you a result, either an excess of food, just the right amount, too little food. It's all part of it. But it's what you do with those numbers and how you feel about yourself, which is going to change whether it works for you. Once I started accepting myself as I was right in that moment, and I started taking better care of myself, some really interesting things happened. So the first thing was I started deliberately making choices to eat differently to maximize the amount of calories I was eating. So if I had a homemade burger, I started adding veggies to it. Now, I am somebody who does not like very many vegetables. I will eat some I actually like, but most are just... It's really hard to try and force myself to do it if I'm not in a habit of already doing it. but I started seeking things out, a way to bulk up my food volume while my calories were kept on the lower end. Then when snack time came around, I wasn't that hungry. I was already full, so I really didn't need a snack that time. Other times I did. Other times I was ravenous. I was feeding a baby, and sometimes when you're breastfeeding, all you want to do is eat because it takes so much energy to feed that you're constantly replacing it with other food. But as I started getting into this groove of taking better care of myself, I was making different choices to benefit my health, not just my taste buds. Another interesting benefit of practicing deliberate physical self-care was I started to like clothes. I didn't know that I enjoyed shopping, because shopping before was a total nightmare. All of a sudden, I had all of these avenues open to me that weren't open before because I didn't fit into them, or I didn't think I could fit into them and didn't even bother looking. I started discovering this little piece of my personality that would come out when I would wear certain clothes. I didn't even know that was there. It was like it was hiding underneath all of the emotions and stuff that I was trying to quiet with food, and I found it. So yeah, I lost 17 kilos in 8 months, and then I put it all back on in about the same amount of time. It can be really hard to talk about this stuff. Everyone wants to talk about losing weight. No one wants to talk about putting it back on. You get so many compliments when you lose weight. You look great. What are you doing? You're disappearing. But nobody says anything when you put it on. Thank goodness. Thank you, family and friends. I love you. I'm working on myself one day at a time. I'm being deliberate with my self-care because I deserve an awesome life. And so do you. So there you have it. How I lost 17 kilos in 8 months. All of those things worked for me before, and they are working for me again. If you have been on the weight loss regain cycle, jump down in the comments and let me know what worked for you last time. Did you find a system that really just made everything click for you, like just tracking calories did for me? I'd love to hear about it. And if you're interested in joining my journey, watching me learn how to take better care of myself, maybe you'll learn a couple of things. Maybe you'll be able to teach me something. Hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when my next video comes out. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.